Hey guys, it's Jake again with Back to Roots Outdoor and Bushcraft. I am in a completely different environment than what I normally am. I'm out here at Lincoln National Forest, southern New Mexico. Check this place out. This is just absolutely gorgeous. In the middle of this pine forest right now, pretty much on the side of a mountain, small mountain, but for a Oklahoma boy that's transplanted into Texas, pretty much anything over 10 feet is a mountain. So I've been hiking around for a while, and with this being a mountainous region, this area right here seems to be my best bet for a campsite. It is sloped, but I can pitch my shelter in between these two trees right here. That ought to give me enough room. I've just got a tarp for the night. Set up my tarp and build a fire right out here in front. There is no fire danger. It's been raining here for like the last 48 hours. My car actually got mud on it for the first time in about 4 months today, so that's cool. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this pack and start getting this set up, because it's just after noon right now, and I'm sure the sun's gonna set a little sooner, being here in kind of a valley type area. And all I'm able to harvest is deadfall, because the Park Services office isn't open up on weekends, so I couldn't get a permit to get a dead standing I couldn't get permission to get my dead standing harvest permit, if I can get those words out. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting trying to find firewood dry enough, especially to keep going all night. It's pretty warm right now. It's about 40 degrees, maybe a little bit higher, a lot warmer than what I thought it was going to be. I kind of screwed up wearing the thermal. But it's supposed to drop down into the high 20s, low 30s tonight. So I'm definitely going to need to keep a fire going. And I know I feel warmer because it's more humid out here than what I've been used to for the last few months. But enough of me rambling. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get my campsite set up, and yeah, I'll talk with y'all soon. Alright, so I got my ridgeline set up, tied in between these two trees here. I tied this end off right here with a Canadian jam knot. Down the ridge line, I've got a couple of toggles set up for the tarp, just tied with simple prusik knots. You can slide one way or t'other, but you put tension on it, she ain't going nowhere. Then you can still just slide again. So I've got that one there, and then I tied it off here to this tree with a top line hitch. Alright, so here's my shelter for the night. Got the tarp set up. I had to have these two corner flaps down because there wasn't quite enough room in between these two trees here. But that's okay. If we get wind coming in from the side, that'll help block that out. Also, if we get any more rain tonight, that'll help block that out too, hopefully. Being on a slope, it ought to be interesting. But yeah, I just got my foam pad down there right now. I'm going to get the rest of my bedding set up here in a second. But no, the ground's really soft, like I said before, from all the rain, so I just staked everything out. Canadian jam knots and bowline knots right there. I know right now I don't show a lot of these knots getting tied, or really a lot of the work that I do. That's because I don't really have a great camera setup. Right now I'm just using a little cheap Nikon handheld camera. I promise though, once I do get a better setup, which hopefully be sooner rather than later, I will start actually filming more of the work process, a few more of the tutorials, you know, like on the knots and stuff like that. But for right now, like I said, I apologize. It kind of is what it is. I work with what I got. So another one of the prerequisites for camping out here that I found out whenever I called the Forest Service office was, if you're going to have a fire, you got to have a fire ring. It doesn't have to be manufactured metal one. It can just be made out of rocks, which, as you can see, there are all kinds of rocks over here. And really they're all throughout the park too. If you guys saw there on the walk-in shots that I was doing earlier, you know, I was practically stumbling and tripping over them. So what I'm going to do now is clear out an area here in front, about, you know, a full stride's away, a full stride's distance away from the shelter itself. It's going to be roughly about right here. I've got to clear out all this duff and debris. It's all pretty soaking wet, but I still don't want to take a chance of it. So, I mean, I'm going to clear out a good perimeter around where I'm going to have the fire. In point of fact, I may actually take some of it and stick underneath the shelter, maybe kind of help level it out some, maybe. I know sleeping on an incline is not ideal, but again, with as sloped as this place is, I mean, it's all hills and mountains and valleys. Unless I was to go up on one of the ridge lines or something, there's not a flat piece of ground out here, at least not where I'm at. So again, like I said, I make do with what I got. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start clearing all this debris away and getting some rocks gathered up, and I'll get back with you all in a bit. Well, so I think that ought to do for my rocks. I might need a few more, but we'll see. As I've stated a couple times before, though, I am sitting on a slope right here. So what I'm thinking about doing is basically, actually probably what I'm going to have to do is build a bit of a retaining wall with the rocks here and probably right over here, so the wood and rocks and everything don't roll into my shelter, because that'd make for a bad night. And I may actually put a fire reflector right along the back here. I don't really know if it's going to get all that cold. Like I said, right now it's comfortable out here. Like I said, it's low 40s right now. Again, every temperature I say is Fahrenheit. Yeah, like I said, we'll see if I even need it. I mean, and I brought a couple of the emergency Mylar blankets too, in case it, for some reason weather shifts on a dime and it does drop down really cold. I know I'll stay plenty warm. I can put one on the back of my shelter and even wrap one around myself inside the wool blankets that I've got. But yeah, I'm gonna get to work on this fire ring and get back with y'all. Well, I think that'll do. So I've got more of them stacked up there on the right side. Help keep everything from rolling down, as well as there in the front. Still waiting on that sleeping mat to self-inflate. I may have to help it along, we'll see. But now the fun part comes. I get to try and find dry firewood out here. This may take a bit, especially enough to keep a fire going all night. So this may not be as bad as I thought. Literally, this log right here. This is the first one that I came to snap a branch off. And look what I found. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fat wood. That is something I can't find where I'm from, because we don't have pines. So, yeah, I may not be as bad off as what I originally anticipated, but again, time will tell. Make that work. So I got a little bit processed up right here. Obviously that's nowhere near everything that I need. And I'm looking around and man, pretty much all this deadfall is soaking wet. There's not really any of the hardwoods that are dead and down that aren't just completely punked all the way through. So it looks like I'm probably going to be burning pine most, if not all, the night. I think this is ponderosa pine out here. I could be way off on that. But that piece that I took off earlier from the end of that big pine log, got the rest of the log right here. It's a good, probably 15-20 foot log. At the bottom of it, I don't know, maybe 8 inches diameter. There's a lot of rotted material on the outside of it, but I think I'm gonna start chopping into it and see if I can't find something dry down in the middle. I think that'll give me a good store. Well, unfortunately, I learned a really important lesson about fat wood today. One splinter of it will go right through a hickory handle. So now I've got 2 axes I have to rehandle. At least I got to swing it with a name on it for a little while. Oh well, I still got my saw. Look at this here. Looks like maybe some kind of rub. Deer or an elk. I mean, I saw a bunch of scat around here. I did actually see an elk on the drive in, which was pretty cool because I'd never seen one in real life before. But even right there, if it'll focus, which it's not wanting to. You know what? We'll just walk down there. Yeah, right here. I mean, I don't see any claw marks or anything. So I would say that's probably some kind of rub. That's cool. Alright guys, I think I got enough wood chopped up, well, chopped, split, broken, at least for now. Got a decent little wood pile right there. I really don't think it's going to get as cold as I say it was going to. But if it does, I've got a few more of the deadfalls that I was able to get here that I can just either break up or cut up real quick. But the next fun thing to do is gonna try and get a fire going with this soaking wet wood. I've batoned some of it up. I'm able to get to a dry core, so I'll be able to make some feather sticks. But yeah, it's just whenever I put these wet logs on, let's see what happens with that. But I do need to get one going because it's about 3:15 right now, and I haven't eaten anything since I left the house this morning, which was 5:30. So I'm pretty hungry. Before I do that though, I'm going to go ahead and set my wool blankets down. I had to actually blow up my my Thermarest Trail Scout. I don't know if it's because I keep it in the sack, the cinch sack, and I don't use it that often that it doesn't want to expand out on its own. But it really hasn't the last couple of times that I've used it, and like today it was sitting out for a few hours and it never self-expanded. I've had to blow it up every time. And it seems like it's trying to, last time I used it, it seems like it was losing air throughout the night. Thought I heard something. In any case, now I'm going to get the wool blankets thrown down and get the bed all fully made up, and then I'll start getting a small fire going. Try and dry some of this wood out, that way I can burn it throughout the night. Start with the pine first, see how this feather sticks. It's definitely dry, and there's definitely fat wood in there. Probably should have done this inside the fire ring. Wow. Alright, let's try this hardwood, which, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what it is. Not bad for feathers though. So I got about hour 15, hour and a half before the sun sets behind that ridge line back there. So I figure I better get a fire going. There is not an abundance of dry tinder around here. I was, however, able to find. I got this bundle of dry grass right here. A few dry pines, well, dryish twigs, and I've found just a few small actual dry sticks or some stuff that I've actually processed up. I'm using the pine as my base and as my my backrest for the fire. I'm gonna see if this works, hopefully. If it doesn't, y'all know me, I always got a plan B. But I'm gonna get this grass processed up, get it nice and fluffy. Hopefully it'll take a spark, and we'll go from there. Come on, baby. She's trying. Everything is just so wet out here. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna catch. Plan B. I'm sure you guys have seen stuff like this before with other bushcrafters and outdoorsmen. No, this is nothing illicit. This is petroleum jelly impregnated cotton balls. I've never actually tried these before. I made these a while back, but I've never tried them before. Been told they burn up to like 10 minutes, so maybe we can actually get a decent fire going with it. We're about to find out. All right, let's give this a shot. Okay, it wants to be that way. Plan B's plan B. Well, that seemed to get it going. Got her going now. Fun part is just keeping it going throughout the night with how damp all this wood is. But I really don't have much of a choice. So I was actually just about ready to kick off my boots, relax for the evening. There was, at the time, about 20 minutes till sundown, about 10 now. And I realized I can't relax yet. So I had to hang up my food bag. So I got that hung up. Probably good 30-40 yards away from camp. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, this is completely new country for me to be camping in. I mean, last time I camped in the mountains, I was probably 5 or 6 years old when we lived up in Oregon. That was just tent camping with the family up in the Cascades. Excuse me. In point of fact, I barely remember it. So no, this is completely new territory for me, and I want to make sure that I got my food bag away from camp, hung up in a tree. This is bear country. It being February, I don't think they'll be out and about, probably still hibernating. I don't know, it is getting kind of warm, so we'll see. It's just black bear down here south. I say that like it's nothing. I think this is cougar country too. I know if you go further north to the like the Carson National Forest up around Taos, it's definitely cougar country up there. And I think they've got them down here too. Probably some wild hog. So I definitely want to keep the scent away from the camp. That's another reason I'm going to keep this fire burning all night. I've heard conflicting things, whether a fire actually will keep predators away or not. You know what? Whether it won't, or whether it will or it won't, I'm going to keep on believing that it does, and it'll make me feel better. No, in all honesty, I mean, it is really nice out here. It's starting to cool down. The sun is just about over that ridge line, or just about down over that ridge line behind me. So I'm not even sure what time the sun's actually going to rise tomorrow morning with that ridge line being that close. Maybe a pretty dark morning starting out. But so I'm going to sit here, relax, untie my boots, even take them off, just kind of kick back. I'm pretty worn out, that hike in, swinging the axe. Couple that with the fact that I'm not used to this elevation. We're over 7,000 feet right now. And yeah, I'm from the Texas Panhandle, man, and before that, Oklahoma. I mean, we're sea level down there. So yeah, I get into this thin oxygen, and it kind of starts to hurt, and it takes it out of me a little bit. Well, like I said, I'm just gonna relax here by the fire. It's good and warm. That I got a good enough bed of coals going, good enough fire going now that it's able to dry out the wood and then burn it. So I ought to stay decently warm all night. Well, it's a little early, but I'm gonna go ahead and eat dinner. It's probably about 5:15 or so. I'm hungry, and like I said, it was a long day. Excuse me. Couple that with the fact that, like a brainchild, I didn't eat any lunch. So on the menu tonight is Backpacker's Pantry Fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. I'm having this again, and I'm having it again for two reasons actually. One, I really liked it. It was actually really, really good for a dehydrated meal. And second, and most importantly, it was the only one that the store had in stock, so it's what I got. So I'm going to go ahead and boil up this water and get some dinner going. Alright, it's time to dig in. Alright guys, well, dinner's eaten. I really do enjoy that meal. I'd highly recommend you guys give that a shot. So I'm having my customary after dinner pipe, and I've also got my customary after dinner drink. Tonight I've got Knob Creek Rye. I'm not usually a rye drinker. I'm definitely more of a bourbon or a Scotch guy. Every once in a while, some Irish whiskey, especially if I want to hate my guts the next morning. But now, I get a Jones for some rye every once in a while, so I pick this stuff up. It's 100 proof. It's pretty stout, but it's really, really smooth. And after all, like you've heard me say before, what's camping without a little bit of brown water? Cheers, guys. It pairs decent with this tobacco. If you guys saw the first base camp build video, this is the same tobacco that I'm smoking now that I smoked in that one. It's the Indulo, Induyo, however you want to pronounce it. I was originally actually going to bring a cigar out here, but for one, there's a chance it could end up getting broke in the pack, and for two, there's just something about smoking a pipe by the campfire. I absolutely love it. So it's just sitting here watching the fire. Got to thinking. I remember the first time that I decided that I was going to start getting outside again. And it was actually a year ago this month. It was February of 2017. I remember that first night being out there. Once the sun went down, I had the fire going and everything, and I remember I spent 3 hours just sitting there tending the fire, watching it, and I remember I never got bored. It's still the same. I can still be perfectly content just sitting out here in front of the campfire, tending it for hours on end, not getting bored. I hope the day that I get bored never comes. I'm sure it will at some point in time, but I hope it doesn't. I just was thinking about this past year. I've learned a lot. I haven't gotten to be outside as much as I want to, but I've been out, more often than not, and I've learned a lot. I really have. And this is only the beginning, that much I know. It got me thinking, because if any of you have watched any of my videos, you know that this will be the first time that I've had a fire going all night. And so that's what got me thinking about watching the fire and tending to it and everything. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that it was a year ago this month that I made the conscious decision to start getting outside more. And actually that first night was there at my base camp. It's when I built the frame for that lean-to that's still there. So yeah, all in all, I can't complain, man. Alright guys, so threw a couple big logs on the fire and let those burn. I'm a rack out. I'm tired. It's pushing 10 o'clock my time, which is kind of bad because it's only 9 o'clock here, but so I'm in a different time zone than from what I live. But regardless, I'm tired, so I'm gonna go to bed. So we'll see you all in the morning. Yeah, good morning, guys. It's about half after 6 right now. Sun's just starting to, well, I say the sun's starting to peak up. We got some cloud cover, but the sky is starting to get light over there in the east. Slept pretty well. Had to get up, I think, about 4 times, stoke the fire. Stayed decently warm though. There was one time there in the night that I got a little chilled, but other than that I was perfectly fine. But now I'm gonna wait for it to get just a little bit lighter here, kind of organize things around camp, and start to get some breakfast and some coffee going, because man, I need both of those, especially the coffee. But yeah, all in all, it was a pretty good night. So I'm just waiting on the water to boil now. Sounds like it's almost there. And I'm gonna make some breakfast, which happens to be oatmeal. It's quick and it's easy, and I still got that long drive ahead of me. But I forgot my nesting cup whenever I was packing the other day, so I gotta drink my coffee straight out of the billy can right there. So that ought to be fun. Now, in point of fact, the lid's bucking right now, so I'm assuming it's boiling. I'll get back with y'all. Alright guys, I got breakfast eaten. Just drinking my coffee now. Enjoying it. I'm slowly breaking down camp. But no, like I said before, it was a really good trip out here. I enjoyed it a lot. And like I mentioned earlier a few different times, a few different firsts for me. This is the first time that I've had to tend to a fire all night to make sure it stays going. It's the first time I saw an elk in real life. And yeah, last night up on that ridge line behind me, I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, that ridge line right there. It was about probably 11:30, 12 o'clock last night. I got woke up by a sound, not used to hearing out in the woods. So I laid there for a minute, and I heard it a couple more times, and I realized what it was. It was a cougar. That was pretty crazy. For me to stand here and say it didn't freak me out at all would be a complete and total lie. But it was really, really cool. So yeah, I mean, this is cougar country too, so I'm definitely gonna have to watch my back on my way out. But no, all in all, like I said, it was a really good trip. I'm glad I came out here. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I think my battery's starting to die. If you guys like the video, go ahead and click the little subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. You know, get as many subscriptions as I can. You know, I'd really like to get this channel as much exposure as possible. I'd like to think what I'm doing is pretty cool, and if you guys are watching it, I hope you think it's cool too. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well. They're both Back to Roots Outdoor and Bushcraft. Just do the search on both of those and you'll find me. I normally, on both of those, just, you know, post whenever my video is coming out or whenever it has hit. But I do post a few other pictures of my trips here and there that obviously don't make it to YouTube. But no, like I said, if you guys want to see a little bit more of me, my bright and shiny face, go ahead and, you know, give me a follow there on Facebook and Instagram as well. But other than that, like I said, I'm gonna finish breaking down camp, get everything packed up there in my big monkey pack, which, you know, like I said, I mean, I hiked in about a mile from where I parked to get here. If I said it was the most comfortable pack in the world, again, I'd be lying. But it's not bad. It's really not. You know, especially for a $60 pack, it does haul a lot, and it does the trick. But no, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get packed up and get this fire extinguished here, because I certainly don't want to burn this forest to the ground. I really enjoy being out here, and I'm definitely coming back. But until next time, y'all have a good one.